All right, let's be real. You've been feeling it, that weird vibe, those little comments, the way they don't clap when you win. And you've been telling yourself, no, they're my friend. They wouldn't be jealous of me, but deep down, you know the truth. Yes, they're jealous of you. I hate to say it. And yes, they're probably been talking about you behind your back. So today I'm breaking down 7 signs that your so-called friend, BFF, is not really your friend. And if any of these sound familiar, it's time to wake up and move on. Because keeping jealous people in your life is like watering weeds and wondering why your garden won't grow. Just can't. All right, so sign number 1, they minimize your success. Whenever you share a win, they hit you with comments like, oh, that's cute, or don't get too big-headed, always stay humble. Instead of celebrating you, they act like your success is no big deal. You tell them about your promotion and they say, well, let's see how long you're gonna keep that job. Why this matters? Well, they can't stand that you're leveling up because it's highlighting their own lack of progress. They're not hating on your success. They're hating on their own reflection when they see you shine. Sign number 2, they disappear when you're winning. This is a big one. A lot of people do that. Have you ever noticed that? When you're struggling, they're always in your business, they're always around. But when you're thriving, this be ghosts. That's because success makes them uncomfortable. They don't know how to act. They don't know how to clap for you because it reminds them of what they're not doing and where they want to be. See, you post a big win, they don't like, they don't comment, or they don't say a word, but they're all over your sad post. What's the matter? A real friend shows up even in your wins, not just your losses. If they can't celebrate with you, they don't deserve a front row seat to your life. I've been through that a lot, especially those first 2. You know what I'm saying? I think I fell out with a friend early, like in the middle of last year, because I dropped my first #1 EP, Do Not Disturb. And instead of like coming to my release party with me and my boys, they came over and they were just like super negative, asking why I was excited, comparing myself to other people, just always finding something wrong with it. And it was like bringing me like, you could have fixed this, you could have did this, you could have did that. I'm just like, bro, what #1 on iTunes? We didn't need to fix anything, it was enough. And I'm just like, then they started comparing me to other YouTubers and other people that drop music and stuff like that. I'm just like, this is a weird energy. So I ended up kicking them out of my place because I'm like, I don't really like that type of vibe. I don't like people comparing themselves to me. I've had a lot of hater friends in the past. I've had people that come around me and you could always tell that they just never want to be excited for you when you're winning. They never want to see, I notice everybody, especially one of my friends, I notice what friends like my posts, what friends don't like my posts. Got a new car, they didn't like it, but like, you like weird, like I've seen people like weird on my page. Like, you don't like this one where I'm, got my brand new Corvette, it's got thousands of likes, but then you like this one-off stupid post, or you mentioned something dumb in the background of a video that I made. And I'm like, that's weird, or you notice that those people are not around when you're winning, when you got good stuff happening, they're never available. But when things start to fall short for you or you're stressed out, they're available, but they're not available to help. Don't get it twisted. They're not really available to help, but they're available to be there for like a listening ear. Like they just want the tea. You know what I'm saying? They're not really there to add anything to it. They're not actually there to actually make your life easier. They're just there because they feel like, you're finally on their level or you're brought back down, And so I find that I don't really have that many friends because a lot of people, they have made me feel like when I'm celebrating my wins, especially some of my friends that are not where I'm at or on my level or whatever the case may be, they have made me try to like feel bad, like, oh, somehow like I'm all about me or I'm a narcissist or like I'm so selfish or self-absorbed. And it's like, no, I'm just happy that I've been successful and I'm doing, what I'm doing and I'm growing as a person. And it's just really, really interesting that, I can sit up there and talk about their wins and talk about what they got going on all day long. But then when I talk about me, it's like I'm talking about myself too much, but it's not like they're ever going to bring up, oh, I'm proud of you. Oh, I see what you did there. Or that was a vibe or you're killing it. You got to pay attention to that. Them people that never really bring up your wins or they never shout you out or they never be like, oh, my boy is killing it. My dog is eating it up. I'm so proud of you. They're haters. They're haters. They are haters and they're jealous of you. They're jealous of you because then the whole thing is they'll expect you though, especially if you're perceivably like doing better or have more money or whatever the case may be, they'll expect you to notice and bring up everything that they got going on and then like be super into it. And in the moment you like are like kind of into it, or maybe you might seem like you're not as into it, it's like you're a bad person. But they're never gonna see you winning and be like, congratulations, or I see that for you, or I'm proud of what you're doing. They just almost chalk it up to like, oh, well, you've been doing this, you know? And then you become obligated to like focus on everything about them. Sign number 3, they're overly competitive. Jealousy often shows up as competition. Instead of being happy for you, they try to one-up you every chance they get. You get a new car, they suddenly need to flex about their next big purchase. You share an idea and then somehow they make it about them. Example, you tell them, you're starting a new business, and the next thing you know, they're acting like they've invented entrepreneurship. It's like, what? Why this matters? Well, they're not in competition to grow. They're competing to make you feel smaller. They're competing to make you feel smaller. That's very important because they don't want you to ever feel like you've got too far ahead of the program. But you'll notice when you do get farther out, they just shut down and disappear. And especially if you always find yourself like bickering with them slightly, you'll notice that it's coming from a hater energy. And they're gonna show themselves. They show themselves every time. It's not a friendship. It's a silent competition they signed up for without telling you. Sign number 4, they gossip about you. Let's call it what it is. They're running their mouth behind your back, and you'll know it's them because the gossip always finds its way back to you. They'll disguise it as concern, but don't be fooled. They're trying to plant seeds of doubt about you and other people's minds. Example, you hear things about yourself from mutual friends and you're wondering where it started. You're like, what? And why does this matter? Well, someone who respects you will address you directly, not talk about you to anyone else. If they're always the first one to hear drama about you, well, it's because they started it. And I want to be clear on that. I had a friend that I brought on YouTube, right? Been jealous of me for years. This guy had been jealous of me since we were in literally elementary school. We never really liked each other, but we got cool. But the guy had been jealous of me since high school. Well, really elementary. I was always like the dance captain. I was always like, you know, the singer, the performer. He was never really that. He was always like the unattractive, kind of overweight, you know, didn't really know who he was, kind of loser. And it was like, I would audition for stuff. Of course, I would get the role. I would become the captain. Then he would try to audition for the same stuff, or like he would have to audition for my team. I didn't put him on the team because I just didn't think that he was great. I mean, he really wasn't good at performing. He really wasn't good at music. Those were not his strengths. So he was always jealous of me. But however, we ended up being cool after. Now, my mom, my sisters, my whole family, they always told me, they're like, yo, you got to watch this dude. You got to watch this dude. This dude is like a hater. And I just still kept him around because I thought he was cool. But as we got older, every little thing that we did, like he would try to like one up me or like take something from underneath me. And then we got to a point where we were on YouTube. And I found out later on, because on YouTube, you know, there's a place for everybody on YouTube. There's literally a place for everybody on YouTube. So, you know, there was a point where, you know, I was in a space where I was doing a lot of celebrity news, celebrity gossip, commentary. And, you know, with that, you get fans, you get people that like you get people that don't like you. And when I had the people that didn't like me, you know, he would always find a way to like get the messiest moderators that I would fire, or like he would always be cool with people that I had fallen out with. It was like really, really weird. And then like he would play into this narrative that like I didn't help him, I didn't want to help him, and you know, it was just all kind of stuff. So then he had people behind the scenes, and I had no idea that people were looking at like I was this big bad wolf taking from this small guy and didn't really want to help him. And all the while, this dude was just really jealous because I had the star power the entire time. We ended up falling out, he ended up trying to expose me and, you know, say like all kind of stuff. But I wasn't really shocked because I knew that he would do it. But at the end of the day, you know, the dude the thing is, when people do that, they still end up being trash. Like they still end up being broke. They still end up not even being on your level. Like the nigga is completely falling off, and I don't even know where he's at right now. You get what I'm saying? But it's like you tried to literally embarrass me because you've been a hater, and you've been a jealous, but you still to this day can't fuck with me on any level. And you never will be able to, no matter how hard you try, no matter what you do, you will always be second. And I think that, he realized that he hated that. But you could be first in your lane, but you're not going to be first in my lane doing me. You can't compete where you can't compare. But it was my bad for stringing them along because all the signs were there. And it literally goes into our number 5 thing. They copy everything you do. Jealous people will act like they're not watching you, but their actions scream otherwise. You'll notice they start copying your style, your ideas, even the way you talk. But they'll never admit it. They'll never admit that they're inspired by you. Like example, you launch a project and suddenly they're doing something suspiciously similar, but pretending it's original. Why this matters? Well, imitation isn't flattery when it's rooted in jealousy. They don't want to support you. They want to replace you. Oh my God, I can't tell you how many times that happened. This fool was even wearing my stuff. Sign number 6, they undermine you. They'll disguise their jealousy as advice, but really, they're just trying to hold you back. They'll say things like, are you sure you can handle that? I just don't want you to be, I just don't want you to fail or be overwhelmed. It's a good cover for their insecurity to act like they're supporting you. You should share your goals and they instantly start listing all the reasons it won't work. When you share your goals, they start, oh, this won't work. Don't do this, don't do that. No, real friends don't do that. Real friends push you and inspire you. They're not protecting you. They're projecting their own fears onto you. And lastly, sign number 7, they secretly hope that you fail. Okay, this is the hardest one to accept. They act like they're rooting for you, but deep down, they're hoping that you fail. They'll smile in your face though, congratulate you. But if you stumble, they're the first one to be like, well, hey, I kind of told you so. I kind of told you weren't ready. If that's ever happened to you, you'll need to know that person is not for you. That is a tall tale sign that those people are not for you because these people will literally sit around and act like they want you to win. They're there for you. They're a girl's girl. They're a guy's guy. And they want everybody in their circle to win. But deep down, if they're not doing it and they're not winning too, if something happens with you, they're the first one to be like, yeah, you know what? I told you that wasn't going to work out. Well, how do you feel? We need to talk about it. Tell me everything. Girl, deep down, you really wanted me to fail anyway. But you already know this and you'll be able to feel it. You know if you have that hater friend already. You know it already. Now that you know the signs, it's time to take action. Distance yourself from anyone who shows these behaviors, no matter how long you've been friends, how long you've known them. Protect your energy and keep your wins private until they're too big to ignore, okay? Jealous people are like bad Wi-Fi. Disconnect before they slow you down. At the end of the day go in, and jealousy is their issue, not yours. You don't need to fix them, explain yourself, or dim your light. Keep shining, winning, and let them deal with their own shadows. Because the truth is, if they're jealous now, wait until they see what's in store next. All right, guys, until next time, keep that same energy, and we'll see you soon. Peace out.